What a magic in our life.
That's for sure.
Okay.
Can I answer to that?
Ask the question.
What is magic in your life?
What is magic in our life? It's all pervasive. Everything we do in our life is magic. I made this decision, or it was made for me, at the age of 11. I think either one is like magically inclined and sees the universe as a magical place, the magical universe, which is William Burroughs had a phrase called the magical universe. And I strongly think there's people who can understand this and work with it and live with it, and there are people who do not. And it's not enemies or opposition, it's just two ways of looking at the world. Coincidences are not coincidences, accidents are not accidents, and we can influence and control at a distance. We practice magic every day in our life, with rituals, sometimes sexual rituals, sometimes rituals where I will project my will into an object or an image and use that, or particularly with Coil, we project the magic into the music. So it's his magical music, and I won't have anyone say anything else except that we do magical music. This is very deliberate, and we are stating it very deliberately, and it is against non-magical music, which is the majority.
Music as a magical power?
For us, yes.
Maybe
for other people, yes. Not always. It really depends on people's wavelength of thinking and how they were brought up and how they receive what we do. We are very cryptic. Do you understand the word cryptic? For a long time, we didn't play live. We didn't really do many interviews. And we didn't really explain ourselves. And when the millennium came, which is this year, 2001, we decided we have no excuses anymore. We have to go out and explain ourselves, explain what we've been doing, explain what we will be doing, and what we are doing at the moment. So this is it's like a mission, really. It feels like we've been taken over by something higher. Higher beings are commanding, which is one of the lyrics of the song. There's a song called "Higher Beings Command." It feels it's not like a message from God or anything. It's just like having been given what we have, whether we call it a gift or a curse or a vocation or a life job, which is the music and to create. We are now giving it back to people. Otherwise, I feel very selfish. So we've completely changed around our idea of being reclusive. So we are touring and we are talking to people and we are clarifying the ideas that we have in our heads and have put in our music, but maybe have not made clear enough. So this is why we're here and cooperating and very grateful to be here.
Do you think you've been misunderstood before?
I think so, yes. But it's our own fault. We haven't explained ourselves before really enough. We haven't been available as people, actual human beings, with spirits and ideas and musical ideas and stuff. We haven't been around. We haven't made ourselves available, and this is different now for us. And it's what we will be doing for the next 10 years or more, we hope.
Do you feel freer? Yeah.
Much freer, yes, yeah. It's exciting. I think, I have addictions and I have fears and I have, constraints in my thinking. And the point of being a magician in life is to break those and to explore and explode these set ideas that I have, from my parents, from my very weak given religion, from my peer group, this industrial music thing. We don't fit with that. We are something else. And by going out into the world, we find out what it is that we are, and we define it. And hopefully, in the way that teachers have taught us, like Brian Geisen the artist, as a teacher, William Burroughs as a teacher, John Giorno as a teacher, various Buddhist teachers and friends, and so on. I point to those particularly because they influenced me early on. We have a duty to pass on what they taught us. They actually recognized us as being the purest form of what they were doing, especially William Burroughs. He said we are the purest form of what he was experimenting with in Paris in the 50s. That we have been passed on the legacy, and it's a duty. We feel duty bound to do what we are doing now. But it's a pleasure also. If it wasn't a pleasure, we wouldn't do it. That was how we demonstrated the beginning. Yes. With I perceived the group as like solar, to do with the sun, and it was burning me, and it was destroying me particularly, and I think probably destroying the group. We were so intense and so self-destructive with our intake of drugs and alcohol, and just living life too strongly. And now we decided to do moon music, so it's lunar, and there's a deliberate switch to become lunar, and we made a deliberate switch to tune into the moon and see for the next 11 years, maybe 10 or 11 years, in a big cycle to see not feminine side, but whatever the moon represents, we are now drawing energy down from that in a very, very deliberate again and strong way. Yes.
But the light from the moon is from the sun still. It's a reflection of it.
Yeah, but it's reflected from the moon. That
transformation of light.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's softer.
Captain Beefheart's lyric is it light reflected from the oceans of the moon. And we live by the sea. It's very much to do with we're trying to become more aware of nature's cycles. This isn't hippie shit. This is everything is regulated within a 7-day week, and we're trying to break that. There's this a movement in America, which is sort of started in America but is now spreading, which is basing itself on the Mayan calendar, which is a 13-moon cycle, and this actually fits much more closely than a 7-day week, which tries to fit around the moon. The moon is like a distraction or an annoyance, and it's not natural to do this. So I personally, and on our website, we are distributing this information of the 13-moon cycle, and this is how the year works. And it happens that there's one day that has no name at all to make it fit. But this is a wonderful idea, a day with absolutely no name at all, which is a blank space, and this is sort of what I'm interested in. Well, we did it as a favor in a way, because we've always had the black sun as a Coil image, whether it was the chaos star symbol or very early on it was adapted from a Crowley drawing very originally. And the black sun is le soleil noir. It's what we have in our heart, I think. It's like a surrealist emblem. And go back to the dark matter, it's just someone who we'd known for a very long time, masters, and so we said yes. As a gesture of goodwill. And
you want to talk about dark?
Dark.
Yeah. Music to glow in the dark and
yes.
And,
yeah. Well, we have this.
Dark skies.
Yeah. Darkness is important, and I don't mean in a sort of devil Jesus way. Darkness is where Christians should go to find peace. Christians seem to be lighting up the world. They think that the light of Christ, if they floodlit the world, then it would be a safer place and there would be no demons. This is wrong. You have to embrace your demons and feed them. And I'm not talking Satanism at all. This has nothing to do with Satanism or anything. It's whatever you feel is your darker side must be fear inside you. So it has to be fed, and then you give birth, or you understand what your demons are. And this is exploring your darker side. It's this very crude simplification of what I really feel and what I know. But music to play in the dark, it really is. I think that electric lighting has destroyed a whole area of mythology and magic making. When people sat down by a with a candle at night. So when the sun set, it was dark, and people had candles maybe, or fires, or gas, or small lighting. And at that point, stories were told, and stories were made up, and people imagined, and now they don't. And I think this is a terrible schism, a break, a fracture. It's destruction of this whole area of human imagining and belief and creating. And I really want it to go back, so some people at least understand that to sit by a fire, just by firelight, with a few friends talking until 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, this is where the creation of mythology and the deeper things are allowed to emerge. And this is one of our missions. It's partly, our stage show is quite dark, and then it's not, and it's very, very bright. We're playing around with the bright and the dark, the light and the dark.
Does it mean that all your compositions are made in the dark too?
We couldn't work our equipment, could we?
That's without any light, I mean.
They're intended to be played when we do music to play in the dark. Obviously, we do it whenever, in the daytime, in the morning. We do it in the morning usually, or when Disciple Sandra comes over from Wales. He lives a long way, and he will drive a long way, driven man, to come and work. And we'll do it in the daytime. But what these particular releases were intended is for listening in the dark. Yes, there is a link. Yes, but they are what we project on stage. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an abstract on which the audience will draw from it what they want to draw. We've deliberately left it interactive. There's a lot of abstract sort of stuff so each person will come away with a different comprehension of what they saw and heard. And this is very deliberate. We don't want anything precise. But I mean, there are some slogans that are projected up, like resist the things you can find anywhere, and colour, sound, oblivion. There's certain slogans there, but we're very much opposed to what's the word, proletarializing. Proselytizing. Thank you. Proletarializing, I don't know.
The same as trying to tell the proletariat.
Exactly. We don't want to tell anybody what to do. We suggest. We strongly suggest. But I'm not telling you what we strongly suggest.
And do you design both of you, or the stage, or is that only Peter? Or
No, that's both.
We all work together.
Yeah. If something, it's the same with the music. I mean, I sort of design the stage set at the moment, but Peter, again, I set a task, and the telepathy and the fact that we've known each other for so long excludes the fact that I have to sort of say, do this, do this, do this, do this. Peter instinctively does what is right. He's a genius. Attention. Have you seen us play live?
Non, c'est une question.
Well, it's very correct. Yes. Yes. We start off. We introduce ourselves with music, strong. Then we play 2 old songs, from back catalogue, Blood from the Air and Titan Arch, and then we get intense, very intense, as intense as we can get. Yes. It is like that. Yes. We do what we can. We burn the special incense, the ritual. We have a chalice, the ritual incense. We will be burning, I think, dragon here. When we do we're doing a Time Machines. We did the Time Machines CD, the single CD. We're doing a 5 CD box set of Time Machines. And when we do that, when it's finished, Christmas, I think. Around Christmas, the end of the year, and we have a special incense prepared, so when you play you can smell. It's going to be specially formulated with all the magical correspondences and stuff.
It's kind of trying to communicate with as many different senses as possible.
Yeah, I mean, when you
doing
play
that
live,
and
smell is a very important sense when playing live. We always burn incense, always. It sets us up, it purifies us, and it also purifies the audience, and it makes us become one. Otherwise, we all come in with smells and separate ideas and separate headsets.
I think it helps define a more special place as well.
Yes, it creates a sacred space. Yes.
Is there a place that you would like to play?
Oh, yes.
Whether there's someone there or not.
Well, we're talking about playing in Marrakesh on a rooftop somewhere. I'd like to play. Oh, we're playing Beachy Head. Do you know Beachy Head, the White Cliffs of Dover in England, where everyone commits suicide from?
It's a classic space for people.
It's the #1 suicide spot in the world, and it's where the what's 20 Jazz Front Greats Robin Gristle album cover was, with the Range Rover. That was shot at Beachy Head. So, along with Chris and Cozy, they agreed to play with us. We will sometime, I think this year, play a concert there. And I want to play Chicago Planetarium as well. Somebody offered that. They said, "Do you want to play there?" And I said, "Yes." So all the stars will be moving around, which will be wonderful. It's music to play in the dark, definitely there.
If you'd like to play at the Paris Planetarium, I could help you.
Is there a yes, really?
We should do a planetarium tour.
We should do a tour of planetariums. Oh, you're talking distribution. We honestly do not. I know it's World Serpent who distributors limit themselves in certain ways, and I wish they didn't. I wish our records were available in every shop they could be available in. We have no, policy of restriction. It's their problem. And I can't criticize them because they do an awful lot of good for us. But if I could, I would like all our records in every shop that wants them, and I try very hard to get them in every shop that wants them. But it's like beating my head against a wall sometimes. We have the website now. www.threshold.com. Thresholdhouse.com. And the internet is now possibly where you can buy them from anywhere in the world. But I really do wish they were available more often. And it's not something we have much control over, I'm afraid. Why did we leave London?
The smell.
The smell, yes.
It's a terrible place.
London is a terrible place.
It's
worse and
worse and worse.
It is worse and worse.
Can't
It's-
fly in London anymore. You can't do anything. There's no liberty. All the liberties have been taken away.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
one point where you could kind of survive alternatively,
It's gone. Anyone with sense has left London now, or is in the process of leaving. Really, it's.
Then I have no sense.
Well, you've talked about leaving,
Yeah,
or you have dreams of leaving.
I dream about leaving. Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole of England, Wales, and Scotland. Fabulous places.
Anywhere in the world.
Or anywhere in the world, if you know.
Donc ensuite, on leur a demandé pourquoi ils avaient quitté Londres. Et donc ils ont répondu l'odeur, c'est un endroit terrible. Londres est vraiment devenu un endroit terrible, c'est de pire en pire. On ne peut plus rien y faire d'alternatif. Toute personne ayant un peu de bon sens quitte Londres ou est dans un processus de quitter Londres. Il y a toute l'Angleterre, le Pays de Galles, l'Écosse, des endroits vraiment fabuleux, ou alors n'importe où dans le monde.
Or France. I mean,
How do you see France?
Civilized.
Very civilized in a fantastic way. Because of my father, I had an anti-French bias, and it's not my fault. And now I'm here. It's gone. People are so ready to listen, and I'm ready to say.
Vous n'étiez jamais venu avant?
This is your first time? You've never been here before?
No, we've been on holiday to Paris, but
Just for holiday?
yeah, but not much interaction. But now this is interaction, and I love. not just France, but I'm so ready to meet people.
Évidemment, la question un peu neuneux, mais c'est pas moi qui l'ai posée. Hein. Et la France. Et donc, il a répondu John Balance, très civilisé, d'une manière fantastique. À cause de mon père, j'avais un sentiment très anti-français. C'est pas vraiment de ma faute, mais maintenant je suis ici et tout ça, ça a disparu. Les gens sont tellement prêts à écouter et ça tombe bien, moi je suis prêt à parler. Et donc on lui a également posé, vous n'étiez jamais venu, si juste des vacances à Paris, mais sans aucune interaction. Maintenant il y a l'interaction, pas seulement en France, mais maintenant je suis tellement prêt à rencontrer des gens.
An inkling, is an English word, an inkling, a small understanding, yes. But it's astonishing that so many, I mean, this table even, you know, it's fantastic.
To check your mails.
Check your mail.
We get about 200 emails a day.
We do get 200 emails a day. So I understand there is a demand for communication, but it's much more fun. Fun is the word, to meet people than I ever anticipated. I'm a changed person, really, because I was such a recluse, hated everybody, and I think the hatred was fear, and now it's gone. Don't know why it's gone, but it has gone. Maybe the magic is working.
We have to work on these things in life.
Well, you do. This is what life is for.
Start one place, you go into the
Exactly.
You don't try to give that some direction, well, you end up nothing.
Generally, we're very...
Talking about silence,
Yes.
you blind.
Blind.
Like visual silence, don't you? Have you ever thought about?
That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question, and that's sort of set me off on thinking about different things a lot. I think you probably created about 3 records for us there.
Generally, we're very bored by most people's live performance. You know, when we were in London, we used to go out a lot to different bands and different kinds of concerts, and nearly always we were totally uninterested because
they were the same, and they were rock and roll. We are not rock and roll. We are anti-rock and roll, and yet we rock and we roll.
We want our performances to be memorable, for people to know that they've seen something special. So in that respect, we use every visual thing that we can.
We use noise in the same way as we use silence. It's like in the hour that we play, it could in fact be silent, because we show you so much at once that everything is shut off. So you may as well be blind and deaf.
Probably will be at the end anyway.
And you would be at the end, yes, hopefully. Silence is sexy, goodness, yes. Like Blixa Bargeld said, yes. Not with a Berlin accent.
Are you still on stage? Do you think it's a rock and roll group as
Who?
said? I'm sure that I want to.
Yes.
Good one.
A good one, a very, 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 very good one. And Blixer's mental imagery and linguistic skill is excellent, is superb, like Nick Cave, you know. I'm jealous when I hear what they say, which is a good sign. No, and that was what's the word? A cover. Time Machine was to do with temporality, time again, as I was saying with the 13 moon cycle. It was an attempt to, while you played Time Machines, you were dislocated from 7 days time, 24 hours time, and we did loads and loads and loads of demonstrations of that type of music, which didn't work. Only certain ones had the same effect, that when you were on a psychedelic drug, time didn't matter, time dissolved, and we attempted with that record to dissolve time while it was playing. So the 5 CD box set allows you 5 hours of dissolved time. It's a good gift for Christmas, I think. 5 hours of dissolved time. Isn't it? Love is the drug. Isn't that? Brian Ferry.
And music is the drug.
Well, of course, music. You know, we try to make our music have a psychotropic effect. There'd be no point of me getting up in the morning and creating, not that I get up in the morning sometimes, but creating music unless we deliberately had the desire to change people's perception. People take drugs to change their perception. Therefore, our music is similar to a drug. You know, that it's magic again. Drugs are magic, or can be. They can be hell. They can be magic.
But the majority of music that's made in society now is soporific. It's designed to reduce thought, whereas our music is designed to increase thought.
It's either wallpaper, you know, like background music, or nullification, and we don't want that. We want to awaken every sense in a Dionysian frenzy, which is hard to live up to. I don't know. Richard Kirk from Cabaret Voltaire.
Yes, but
In relation to what he's doing now.
I haven't heard what he's doing now.
also,
He has a sort of
ça dépend. Il y a beaucoup de choses différentes. Il y a des choses très répétitives.
There's a lot of different things, but there's a lot of repetition.
Et puis il y a des choses plus ambiantes, quoi.
And there's more ambient.
Yeah, he has a sort of interest in paranoia and spying, and I don't know. I don't think we are the same area. I haven't really listened to a lot of his music recently. I loved early Cabaret Voltaire when they were the trio. It's not to knock the music now, because I just haven't heard it. But he's more paranoid. He explores paranoia, and I'm not interested in that at all. I'm paranoid enough. I don't want to project that as an image. Yes, I mean we did the first ever AIDS benefit record with Tainted Love, 12-inch. You know, and in America that went to Act Up or whatever. That was the first one. That was 1980, 84, before Elton John and Kiki D or whatever came in on it. You know? Not that I'm saying I'm boasting, but we were aware of that then. We've always been aware of what's going on in England. You cannot, and Wales and Scotland, you cannot live our life without being aware. This is why I'm so fucked up. You know, I have these emotional pressures. You know, one has to react to these things, but what do you do? What do you do? Do you, like a friend of ours, John Everall, he has been arrested now for animal liberation activity. Whether he was involved, I don't know how heavily involved he was, but he was involved. And he I applaud him, for God's sake. He was doing what he felt was right. You know, the fucking people marching over people's land hunting foxes. He felt that was a cause that he would go to prison for, and he has. I mean, we've come very close to coming to prison for causes we felt, imagery. The fact that images, just images, whatever they are, should be available to whoever wants them. We've come close to being hung, drawn and quartered, and the equivalent of. Had our house searched, destroyed our library, had to destroy every image that was involved with a certain era. I'm talking about psychic television here. So of course we're political. We are political people. Anyone with a sense of who they are and where they're going, and that magic can change things, is a political person. Political magic. Concert.
Or album or other projects.
Oh, many.
What's the next one?
Wounded Galaxy.
Wounded Galaxy's Tap at the Window. Well, we're doing that sometime this year. We're also doing Dream Machinery, which is first one is a tribute to the spirit of William S. Burroughs. The second is a tribute to Brian Gysin, and we have an installation exhibition at the Whitechapel Art Gallery in June, at the end of June. So we have to do that first. So Dream Machinery comes first, the tribute to Brian Gysin. We owe Nine Inch Nails an album, which has been owed for 6 years, I think, or maybe even 7 now. And they've been incredibly patient. But then again, they're called Nothing, and nothing comes from nothing. It's Shakespeare.
But the songs are already recorded.
No. They were. I mean, they are.
They were.
They've become unrecorded.
We have erased.
They're all erased, yeah.
All right.
We have titles, we have lyrics, we have bits and pieces.
So it could be
This is the album. That'd be good. We should release an album of silence for them.
I don't think they'd be very happy about that.
Metal Machine music, but not. We're bottling silence. We're selling bottles of silence. on our website, because behind our house is built on solid rock. In our back garden, we have the purest silence, I know, but it has a label on it saying, may be adulterated by birdsong. We're moving into fine art, as well as music. We want to do objects.
We are doing objects.
We are doing objects. I'd love to do installations that last, or even to play live for like a week, or have an installation that at least is continually playing music for a week. I would love that, and we're reaching the stage where people are asking us to do that. So we're sort of expanding. We're not just a music group. We're people who have ideas, and we are making them concrete and public.